All righty. Good morning. It's Tuesday. It's January 27th. We are still in the year 26. If you're into Bitcoin, we are currently at block 933,976. If you're not into Bitcoin yet, I hope to at least allow you to have a little bit more open mind about why you might want to consider getting into Bitcoin. So at some point, we're not going to get to that today. What I want to talk about today is something that happened yesterday. Part of this channel for me is just opining on some different things that are happening in real time for me. And what I want to talk about today really is about young people coming into the workforce in this age of all this new tech, right? And I know AI is the big buzzword. We're going to see what really plays out with that and how it changes jobs. But I think the hardest part for a young person who's either in high school today or in college today, and they're studying and they're talking with their parents about, hey, what am I going to do for a job? What do I need to study? What jobs are going to be around? Where are industries going in terms of, essentially how can I make money after I get out of school? And the hard part for especially a lot of parents is unless they're in the weeds, which almost none of them are in the weeds and following this stuff extremely closely, on Twitter, mostly to see what tech people are building. It's hard for them to really wrap their heads around how quickly the world is changing. And so all that to say, today's message is pretty quick. I would say if you're a young person out there or you're a parent of a young person, I would have you just think on two topics, two costs: opportunity costs and sunk costs. I was talking with a college student yesterday, actually, who's been doing some part time work for us and essentially said, I don't know how much you've been following what's going on out there, but you might not be best served being in college, which I know that sounds so crazy. If you're, especially if you're, in the boomer generation listening to this, you might think, man, that's just what a crazy thing to say, that you should drop out of college or you should consider just walking away from that, even if you're, 2, 3 years in. But the problem is the opportunity cost of staying in school versus dropping out of school and going and doing something that you could do with or without a degree. It's just a timing thing, right? Want to try to get into the job market as quickly as possible. And if the college degree at this point is just costing you money and providing no value, well, then you have to take a second look. And, as an employer myself, and I talk to a lot of, CEOs of companies, and it's very rare that you come across someone in that seat who's really, gung ho on where did this person go to school? What was their college degree in? What did they get their master's in? It's not a question that even crosses most modern, CEOs' minds at this point. It's the real question is, what have you done? Can you point to me and show me what you've done in the past? Can you solve the problem that I need solved? And if the answer is yes, and I believe you based off of some conversations we have and some previous work that you can show me, references that I can talk to, then assuming that's all good, now let's talk about how much is it going to cost me and how quickly can you get things done, right? I mean, those are basically all the things that I consider, at least from an economic standpoint. Of course, you would want to make sure you like the person, that they have, similar values to you, that you all will work well together, all of those things, having integrity. But if you're just strictly looking at it from the view of like the skill set, the question that almost never comes up again in the circles I run around in, at least, is where did you go to college? And so I just think it's something for young people to think on, for some older people to think on who are parents to those young people. Is college still the right answer? And if you run around in certain circles socially, college has been, a disaster area for a long time for a whole slew of other reasons. For example, there's a lot of evidence to show that college is just there's propaganda that's pushed through college just to form young people to think a certain way about the world and about economics and all those things. So a lot of people have said, hey, college is a waste of time because of that alone. But then you factor in the degrees that the more and more so with AI, the degrees that people walk out of their college experience with have like they bear no value in the real world anymore. Again, unless you're going to be a doctor, an attorney, which watch out for AI on that one for sure. Something that you have to have a college degree, and then that takes you to the next level of like a residency. There's obviously examples like that. And I couldn't be where I'm at without a college degree. So it's a tricky balance. You have to really think through for your specific situation. But the point is that if you're not going for one of those very specific degrees that needs college in order to get a job and to make, the living that you need to make with that skill set, it's probably worth it if you're a go-getter, if you're someone that's, looking out at the landscape and you're studying these things, you're playing with these tools in your off hours, it might be worth it to just go find someone online. Obviously, be very careful with who you end up interacting with and have a good amount of trust built up. Try to meet people in person if at all possible, because that is the ultimate. And like if they're faking it, they're not going to meet you in person. But there's ways to make connections intelligently and safely with people, be it on LinkedIn or X, that then can provide you job opportunities. And so I guess that would be my call to action is take a hard look at either what you're studying if you are in college or what your kid is studying if they're in college. What is the money that you're outlaying? What's the return on that investment, right? And is there a better way to do it? Is it smarter for your child to actually walk away from college early in order to go ahead and get into the workforce and start building up a skill set that they can then point to, be it as an employee or a contractor when they're trying to get a job or land a deal, whatever it is, and they can actually point to, hey, I did this thing. And so that's why you should hire me this other thing. And I know how to leverage these tools. Whereas all these other people that are coming out of college completely green, and they're like, well, I studied the textbook that was written 10 years ago for 4 years. That's good, right? And again, someone in my shoes is like, no, that doesn't cut it. I need someone who knows the cutting edge things. And you just can't, I don't think you can get that in college. So obviously it's an individual decision. Everyone has to kind of think through what is their exact sunk cost, what is their exact opportunity cost. But just wanted to throw it out there. It was something that came across my desk, as recently as yesterday. And I think that with how quickly the tech is moving, it's something that, again, students and parents of students should be really considering. So wanted to jump on this morning and make a quick video. I really don't have all that much time. I need to jump on this call. Yeah, that's the Jordan Guest Show. Happy you're tuning in. Again, if you want to share this with anyone that you think it might be helpful, especially obviously this one, college student, parent of college student, I think at least is interesting to think on, even if you don't take any action on it. And then, of course, like the video, you can subscribe to the channel. That all helps us a ton and just get the message out to more and more people. And yeah, I will leave it there and I will talk to you all soon. Thanks.